Hello and thanks for joining us for the USGN Monthly Newscast sponsored by US Glass Magazine. I'm Megan Headley.
And I'm Holly Biller.
As Homestar, perhaps better known as Cash for Caulkers, moves through Congress, the commercial glass industry waits for movement on the Building Star Energy Efficiency Rebate Act. Building Star promotes the installation of energy-efficient renovations in commercial buildings. Although the bill currently cites only replacement of commercial windows as eligible for benefits, commercial glass industry associations are working to expand the benefits to include window and curtain wall once the legislation is introduced in the House. We recently caught up with Bill Yanek, Executive Vice President of the Glass Association of North America in Washington, D.C., to discuss GANE's efforts to lobby Congress to make improvements to Building Star.
For whatever reason, a lot of the Homestar requirements, which were residential in nature, were placed on top of commercial architectural glazing, and it's especially problematic for curtain wall designers and the like. And so what we decided to do was pick an apropos time, which was this week in May, and do Hill visits with key Senate and House staff to suggest some changes. And the specific changes are on our advocacy website at glasswebsite.com. But in general, one of the things we wanted to make sure that there was a differentiation between curtain wall and architectural glass and windows, because they are two different entities, and that ought to be laid out in the legislation, as well as when they're referencing certain performance standards for the glass, they ought to use existing standards such as the IECC, NFRC, and even the ASHRAE standards. I think the worst case scenario would be that the Building Star passes as is. We do think that there's some changes that have to be made. One of the more likely scenarios, which will complicate this, we've heard, is that if Congress acts on energy, they are going to, much like the Waxman bill did, bring together cap and trade and renewable energy and Building Star all under one bill, or a jobs package is what one of the other names they have for it. And if that is the case, then the trade-offs and the compromises that could be made, I don't know how that'll turn out.
Although a House version of the Building Star legislation is expected to be introduced soon, there are a number of obstacles facing any immediate action on the potential legislation. Just
before we came on here, I got a message that now that we have a Supreme Court nominee that's going to tie up the Senate, all these initiatives are put on the back burner. And underlying all this, too, is the whether they can pay for these tax credit programs, and that is up in the air.
To face those obstacles, GANA is seeking help from other associations, from its members, and you, our viewers.
We also have been working with, and from the get-go, a coalition called the Energy Future Coalition, and GANA will be signing on to work with the Energy Future Coalition, and they are a nonpartisan group. It was formed in the early 2000s and has been intimately involved with the development of Building Star and Homestar, but on the energy efficiency, retrofitting commercial buildings moving forward, the Energy Future Coalition is going to be a big part of that, and hopefully GANA can work through them. One of the things we find, and it's heartening when we visit with Congress, is we realize how large the industry is and that we cover the vast majority of congressional districts. Almost every state, we have a company that's a member of GANA. That can talk to a constituent can talk to their elected representative, and that's much more powerful even than GANA.
You still have a chance to shape regulations that may hugely impact our industry. The Environmental Protection Agency is looking for comments on its proposed rulemaking titled Lead Renovation Repair and Painting Program for Public and Commercial Buildings. The agency is looking for input on whether lead-based paint hazards are created by interior renovation, repair and painting projects in public and commercial buildings, and glass installation is among the activities EPA is addressing. A similar rule was recently enacted for residential buildings. Despite months of protesting the regulation, residential glass installers working on homes built prior to 1978 now must be lead-safe certified by EPA. To clarify, the rule impacts only the replacement of window frames, not glass alone. Visit regulations.gov by July 6th to help shape the potential commercial regulation. And as always, visit usgnn.com for more information on this story.
Be sure to look for updates on these stories and more on our next USGN newscast in June, when we'll be bringing the news straight to your screen once again. Thanks for watching.